bull in a china closet. He was not real big. I mean, he was 6'4", but he was real strong. He had to be, I don't know, 210 pounds, 215, whatever it might be.
And I always made the comment that I thought Rick Harmon would really have been a great football player because he could really run and he was big. He was a great track man as well. And but he played in the style of offense that Jack Gardner wanted, and that was fast break.
Back then, you didn't see many guys scoring double figures, but Rick averaged right around double figures. In 1950, he was his senior year. Sporting News named him one of the top 5 players in the country.
A fierce competitor and a hard driver, and he was not a good shooter. He could drive like crazy.
He was just fast, muscular, and not real smooth, but he got the job done on rebounding and such as that.
His senior year, a bunch of us younger guys were juniors and even some sophomores like Bob Rousey and Jim Iverson. We were out trying to teach Rick Harmon how to shoot, and he was very good in around the bucket, using the English off the board and twisting, turning, and things like that. But he couldn't, facing the basket, he could not shoot a lick. And it was unfortunate at that time. And finally Ed Head and I just kind of gave up on trying to teach him because he was going to be a senior and it was too late.
All of us were veterans except one, Rick Harmon. So the first time we went to Madison Square Garden, we go and we stay in this hotel. I used to know the name, I've forgotten it, close to Madison Square Garden. So Coach Gardner then, when we're at the hotel, he assigns the youngest and newest and greenest people to give money to take us to the Madison Square Garden to practice. And so he gave it to Rick, because Rick was our only high schooler. And who else for the other cabs, I don't know. But I happened to be in the cab with Rick. So we go over and they take us over to Madison Square Garden, and Rick looks at the meter and he reads the meter. He peels out the exact amount of money of the meter and he gives it to the cab driver. And the cab driver says, "Hey, you owe me more." And Rick says, "No." I says, I read the meter. Cab driver, big guy, by the way, too, says, "No." He said, "You owe me a substantial tip." And then he made the mistake. He put his hands on Rick's shoulder. And Rick's a big guy. And Rick decked the guy right there in front of Madison Square Garden. Just laid him out.
He was so enthusiastic. Just a kid out of Hoisington, Kansas. They'd won the state championship, and he was the main force on that. But it took a year for him to get smoothed out and that.
Rick also, when we first walked into Madison Square Garden, and remember, we were still playing a nickel gym at that time. We did see big Kansas City Municipal Auditorium, but we walk into Madison Square Garden, and Rick looks out, and Rick says, "My gosh, this would hold a bunch of hay." Talk about green. He was really green then.
I've known Rick now for a number of years, and his play was a model of play as a great all-around player, scorer, defender, and rebounder, and a really interesting and fun individual to be around.